Have you ever heard someone say, I guess that's just my cross to bear? Well, they're probably using the term incorrectly according to Jesus' calling in the New Testament. Good morning. I'm Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Wednesday. This week, we are looking at the requirements that Jesus gave for those who would be his followers or disciples in the New Testament. And in Luke chapter 14 and verse 27, Jesus said, "And whoever does not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple." I've heard that phrase used by so many in the wrong context of life. They'll say, well, I've treated my neighbor wrongly and now he hates me, but I guess that's just my cross to bear. Well, I've drank heavily all my life and now I'm suffering from a lot of physical ailments. I guess that's just my cross to bear. People speak of the cross as some sort of thankless job they have, or a strained relationship, or a physical ailment. But that's not what Jesus was referring to here. In the Roman Empire of Jesus' day, you realize the cross meant one thing. It was an ugly, cruel, painful death at the hands of your assassins. For this punishment to be even more humiliating, the criminal was forced to carry that cross to the top of the hill where there they would be crucified. Taking up your cross meant you'd be willing to die in order to follow Jesus. Jesus said at one point, whoever wants to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel will find it. After all, what good is it to gain the whole world if you lose your own soul? The rich young ruler in the New Testament turned away from following Jesus because he loved his riches more than he loved Christ. Paul said, Demas has forsaken me, having loved this present world. Even Judas, one of those 12 disciples, was somewhat disillusioned when holding the purse for the disciples. And the Bible tells us that he turned away from Jesus' leading, and the problem was he wasn't dead enough to follow Christ. I really think that the Bible speaks of dying to self, which means that we give up our dreams and our goals and our plans, our whole lives for that matter. The comforts of this world, maybe our friends, our family, our life's plans, all those things, we give them up because we want to follow Jesus Christ. Paul said in Galatians chapter 2 and verse 20, I have been crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, yet not I, but it is Christ who lives in me. And I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. Is that the kind of life we're living? Crucified with Christ, living today only for him. If we genuinely want to be a disciple of Jesus Christ, we must take up our cross, die to ourself, be willing to surrender all of this life and live each day for Jesus Christ. This is not an optional level, by the way, of discipleship where some say, well, I haven't really reached that one. I may get a little higher. That's not what the Bible says. Jesus said, whoever does not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. So do we want to live for him here in this world and live for eternity? Or do we want to live for ourselves and lose our own soul?